of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Hello everybody, welcome to the island of Sodor.
Story 1. Express Scandal. One evening, James returned to the sheds feeling excited. "Driver tells me there's meant to be a new early morning express service," he told the others. "It's meant to start at the harbour and go all the way to a place called Manchester on the mainland." The big engines were most excited. "The fat director will ask me to pull it, of course," Gordon boomed grandly. "Controller," James corrected. "I don't count on it. You already pull the Wild Nor'Wester. It's not right for you to hog 2 expresses. He'll ask me. After all, I can handle the express just as well as you can." "Absolute rot," scoffed 98462, better known as Princess to the other engines. "An express train should be handled by an actual express engine. You don't stand a chance, little James." James was cross. "Well, I never," he fumed. Florence, a little engine from the old days of the railway, just sighed. These new big engines were always so noisy. The following morning, the weather was awful. Wind and rain swept across the island, making the rails slippery. The engines all had to be careful and travel at low speeds. Princess was at the sheds, getting ready to pull the Sedgerin, a fast passenger service bound to the mainland. She looked over and saw James on the other side of the shed. He looked worried. "Let's just hope we don't slip on the hill again, hey old boy?" murmured his driver. This gave Princess a cheeky idea. Her driver pulled the lever, she moved forward a couple inches, and then stopped. "Oh, I don't feel well," she moped. Her crew scrambled to get her working again, but it did no good. An inspector even came to have a look, but no matter what they did, Princess refused to move. "It's no good," the inspector said at last. "Number 5 will have to take the Sedgerin instead." James was very pleased, but also a bit worried. "Don't fret, old boy, we'll do our best and then some," called his driver as they puffed away. At first James was running well. Despite the weather conditions, he was able to keep to time. But as he approached Gordon's Hill, he could feel the heavy coaches begin to hold him back, and his wheels started to spin on the wet rails. Come on, he huffed crossly. We're trying, his coaches grumbled. James pulled and puffed as hard as he could, but it did no good. He came to a stop in the middle of the hill. "Oh, pang," he snorted crossly. "It's no good, James," his driver sighed. "We'll have to call for a banker." James sighed and wished steam in defeat. Meanwhile, Princess wasn't in high spirits either. Her crew had finally managed to get steam up, but now she needed to take James's goods train instead. She hated trucks. Like, really hated them. "Come on, get a move on," she barked at them. "Careful," creaked the truck at the head of her train. "I've got termites, so I have." "I think I'm gonna be sick," cried the truck behind him. "She's going to bruise my bananas going at this speed," muttered a banana van. But Princess was in for a treat as she approached the hill. There was James on the express line, being pushed up the hill by good old Florence. Princess was delighted. Her trick had worked perfectly. "Dear oh dear, James," she called as she went past. "Looks like you aren't express ready after all." And she chortled away, leaving James seething. Princess was in such a good mood now, she practically glided all the way to the workstation, before setting down her trucks and heading off for home. The trucks weren't used to such pleasant treatment from her. They didn't know what to think. Later that night in the sheds, the Fat Controller came to congratulate her on a job well done. "I'm very impressed with your work on the goods 98462, he boomed. "You have proven yourself to be a most versatile engine." "Oh, why thank you, sir," Princess thundered theatrically with a grin, not really knowing what versatile meant. "For your efforts, I've decided that the new express service will be yours." "Oh, sir, you shouldn't have," Princess beamed. "Thank you so much, it truly is an honour." Gordon and Henry gave each other a look. They weren't going to hear the end of it now. James, meanwhile, fumed in the corner of the sheds. "Why do good things only happen to bad engines?" he muttered. Florence could see James was upset, so she tried to cheer him up. "Never mind, James," she said to him with a smile. "I think old Princess won't like her new express much anyway." James looked down, an eyebrow raised. "What do you mean?" "I've had a word with John the Harbour Shunter. He knows an awful lot about this new express service, and believe me, it's rather different from any other we've had on the line." James was curious. "Really? How so?" he asked. Florence smiled and whispered to James. James couldn't help but chuckle. "Don't go telling Princess now," Florence winked. "It's best if you leave it as a surprise." James couldn't agree more. About a week later, Princess awoke to the sensation of steam trickling into her pistons. She was very confused. It was still dark outside. She looked up at the clock, only to see it was 4:30 a.m. "Why are we up so early?" she cried to her driver. "We're taking that new express, remember?" her driver answered groggily. "At this hour?" "Yes. Now let's get going before we wake the others," her driver grunted. And so Princess steamed out of the sheds and headed for the harbour. It may have been ridiculously early in the morning, but you wouldn't have thought it if you were at the harbour. Men bustled up and down the quay, doors on grimy vans were slammed shut, and John the dark grey Tankager was manoeuvring all around the docksides, shunting the vans to where they were needed. Princess backed down onto the quay. She looked behind her and her eyes widened. Instead of nice shining coaches, behind her was a train of trucks, she cried. "What is the meaning of this? Where's my express?" "This is your express," John answered in his cheeky way. "An express of goods." Princess couldn't believe it. John could tell by the look on her face that this wasn't what she was expecting at all. "Hold on. Did you think this was a... Oh..." The old saddle tankager began to laugh. "You silly engine, you aren't carrying passengers, you're carrying fish." And right on cue, a dockman marched past, carrying a crate full of very pungent kippers. Princess recoiled at the smell. "Take care of them, mind," John chuckled. "Kippers need a lot of care, much like passengers, and they don't like to wait around." The big blue engine scowled as the final door banged. The guard blew his whistle and shone his green lamp, and Princess snorted out of the harbour and down the open line. Needless to say, she felt her position deeply.